wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know.
Words matter, my friends. And if you are running to be president or you are president of the United States, words can have tremendous consequences.
I call President Obama and Hillary Clinton the founders of ISIS. They're the founders.
All right, Bob.
I'm voting for him, but I got to tell you, I'm not happy about it, okay? I just cannot vote for Hillary Clinton and her corrupt and the emails, the Clinton Foundation bribes that are going on, Benghazi, and a third term of Obama. I can't go for it. This guy, though, Trump, is self-destructing. It's very frustrating for people that want to vote Republican this time. Very frustrating.
Well, you know, that's the problem, because those who don't want to vote for Trump and they're not Democrats are going to probably stay home. And the problem with that is that we're going to lose seats in the Senate and in the Congress. So we've got to, he's got to turn the base around. Even if he doesn't win, we got to turn the base around so that we can win the House and keep the Senate.
Well, as you know, I am a Democrat and I am supporting Hillary Clinton for president. If you look at where we are and you look at Donald Trump as a presidential candidate, there's a thin line between intentional and reckless. Sometimes that line is so blurry you can't determine where he's coming from. But at the end of the day, I don't think he has the qualifications to run this this country and commander-in-chief.
There's no question about that. He has terrible message discipline, and his pre-planned, pre-timed erratic behavior is striking. It's almost to the point where you wonder whether he's deliberately sabotaging his own campaign.
And I agree,
because he looks behind the curtain now as he gets closer and says, this job's too hard. I don't want to do it. It's too much work. It's too many hours. But he can't come out and say that and look weak.
For a Republican who is very frustrated, okay, Hillary Clinton could be beaten by any of the other 16 candidates that were on that stage.
Rubio scared the Democrats.
Every time she comes out, there are new emails released and this, she's got a 60% disapproval rating. He screws up the positive that he could use and says something stupid.
Because, Bob, I think he doesn't want the job. I really don't. And he can't come out and say it.
I can't tell you
you're
you're
wrong.
wrong.
To blame other people for the rest of his life, but have to do this stressful job. He doesn't want it.
We just saw some video of Hillary run by there. These emails you're talking about that have raised questions during this week regarding the nature of the State Department's connection with the Clinton Foundation. Clinton remains highly untrustworthy, according to the polls, but the majority of voters say they're going to vote for Hillary. So, what do you think about that?
It's because Trump's the alternative. I mean, Hillary, that's what I mean. Hillary could be beaten by any legitimate Republican candidate this time.
But maybe
any. And guess what? Trump could still win it.
No, he can't. Because
yes, he can.
Let me tell you why.
He could still win it.
Look at just Ohio. When Bush won Ohio in 2004, he had double-digit supporters in the African-American community. Trump is less than 1% in the African-American community in Ohio, and in a lot of states, too. Even if you give him Florida, there's no way he's getting to 270.
I'll tell you how he wins.
No way he's getting to 270.
If he does, okay? If he wins, it's because there's a whole lot of angry white people that haven't voted in the past that are going to come out and vote. It's going to happen. I'm not saying he's going to win, but the turnout for him is going to be, don't count him out.
There's not enough of that. He's going backwards in Georgia. He's going backwards in Nevada and Arizona.
There's still a lot of time. There's still a lot of time.
The one thing that I think that that's getting lost in this whole presidential race, I mean, we're less than 90 days away, I guess, from the general, is the substantive policies presented by either candidate. We, unfortunately, are living in a world where sound bites and short snippets rule. And
his tweets.
And tweets. And lost in that, in this era, is the substantive policies which people need to see
here's the problem with Hillary.
This
is what Hillary's trying to do. Hillary is trying to be the third term of Obama, and at the same time, the candidate of change. She's trying to pull off both strategies at the same time, and that's why you're not getting any substance from her. As for Trump, he don't have any policies together yet.
And Chris brought up something that brings me back to my earlier point. The DNC is soaking money into Georgia. They're soaking money into Arizona because they figure they're going to win those seats. And so unless he can turn it around, even if he, like I said, even if he doesn't win, he's got to be able to draw those people in to vote for the Republicans.
You can't handicap this race because every day Trump does something stupid, which is on a daily basis, something comes out on Hillary, and they're each blunting the advantage over the other on a daily basis.
You look at the color of the map and you see that he's going backwards, and you're right, the Republicans are going to lose control of the Senate because they're losing support in places like Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, Georgia, Utah, Nevada, Arizona. Those are red states.
Well, you know what the problem is for them.
But they're not this year.
And you may be right. The problem for those candidates, they're afraid to endorse the head of the ticket, Trump, because they think that's going to cost them votes. And if they don't endorse Trump in their local elections, they're going to antagonize those people.
But a lot of this goes to the heart of the matter. And when you look at the Republican Party, the Republican Party has been in total chaos and disarray for the last few years.
Right.
And,
you're right.
And the icing on the top of it, so to speak, is they have Trump as their as their nominee.
Right.
I mean, you just can't put that together in a coherent way.
No, you can't.
And
Trump's a Democrat.
And I think he
and
really
half
is.
his policies are more liberal than Hillary's.
He's a Rockefeller Republican at best. And I'll tell you what, I think the Republicans are happy to give up the White House for the next 4 years rather than give up control of their own party. And I think that's what's going on here with the Republican leadership.
Well, that's what how the establishment feels.
Yeah.
You know, you got to, whoever wins this election is going to be the side that turns out their own base. All right, there aren't that many undecided voters.
And he's done nothing to grow his base.
I
Look
agree.
at that tax reform bill talking about estate taxes. That doesn't appeal to his
But Hillary's
base.
got the same trouble, all right? You got the Green Party. You've got the Bernie Sanders supporters that aren't thrilled about her.